Gridmaster is here, and we've had time to really dig into it and see what the mode is about. I want to talk about my thoughts with Gridmaster, the things I thought that were really good, and the areas that they can improve on. And ultimately, was it fun to do, and was it a success for old school RuneScape? Was Gridmaster any fun? And the short answer here is yes. Gridmaster was definitely very fun, especially at certain points. It was very enjoyable and satisfying to go and complete these grid tiles and complete lines to get access to rewards and relics. These rewards and relics were a mix of fan favorites from previous leagues, as well as some new rewards and new relics, which I was very excited for to shake things up a little bit. Stuff like minimum potential, getting that early, or getting the battle hat later. Those felt great to unlock. It also really helped to scratch that league itch, knowing that we weren't going to have a league this year and likely not going to have one until the second half of next year, since the one right now is in pre-production. Gridmaster helped to kind of fill that niche for seasonal powerful game modes. And before I go any further, if you're on the fence here of whether you should try Gridmaster or not, I'm going to say you should go ahead and try it. It is very fun and it's very casual and does not take a lot of time to build up your strength or even complete the grid. One thing I want to talk about is the speed of Gridmaster, how long it takes to complete tiles, lines, and the grid as a whole. Well, I was able to complete it on day 2 for myself, and I suspected that it wouldn't be a terribly long grind given that it's only a 4-week event and there's only 49 tiles here, but it was a little bit on the shorter side in my opinion. I think generally speaking, if you're a decent / casual player, you can complete your grid in about 20 hours of game time, and you have people completing it even quicker than that. So it makes sense that this is a 4-week event because this allows casual players to commit maybe 5 hours a week and complete the grid, and for players to jump in a little bit later after release on week 2, 3, 4 and still be able to complete the grid. This makes Gridmaster fantastic for casual players, but I still think the board was a little bit too quick to complete. Specifically, I think this is caused by a lot of the early tasks taking up a good chunk of the board and taking practically no time or requirements at all. Stuff like thieving a fruit stall, drinking a Steamforge brew, doing Gnome Ball, Stronghold of Security, Lesser Demon, like those are all extremely fast, and it's great to get fast rewards, especially the teleport ones. I think those were great to have, Bank Heist and Fairy's Flight, but clearing up like a third of your board in the first couple hours felt a little too speedy for me. I think in future Gridmasters, if we ever have one, I would maybe have 4, max 6 extremely easy tasks like this, or maybe even just make the board bigger. Instead of doing 7x7, do 8x8, and that's going to help dilute some of those very easy tasks. That's some feedback related to the speed of Gridmaster, but now I want to talk about the power of Gridmaster. How powerful do you get in Gridmaster, and how does it feel to get as powerful as you do? Leading up to Gridmaster, it seemed like we were going to be extremely powerful, more powerful than any previous league before, because we have access to all the areas, we have access to very powerful relics, and we need to see what was going to happen with the combat masteries. If anything, I felt too powerful in Gridmaster. This is because we have access to so many powerful relics and rewards from previous leagues. We're not area restricted at all, so we can get any gear we want. And the most important factor here, we're not picking between melee, range, and mage. We're getting all 3 combat masteries maxed out, and man, that makes you so ridiculously strong. It also shows how strong the range mastery is and how weak the mage one is, but that's another point to talk about in future leagues. But yeah, you just crank through everything. Pretty much everything is trivialized, outside of maybe 1 or 2 tiles on the board that could be difficult for some people. It'll be very interesting to see what they do next league when it comes to power levels. I don't think we're going to be nearly as strong as we are in Gridmaster, and I believe that's the right choice as well. Yes, it's fun to be very strong and hit the highest number possible, but I think as a player base, we thrive on having restrictions with our accounts, whether it's a Snowflake account, Iron Man account, Chunk Lock, Pure, a league, we like to have to make choices and forge our own paths. In leagues, by making those choices, we can have a somewhat unique experience. Gridmaster, they say that we can complete the grid our way. That's what they say in the trailer, but man, I expect that our way is like 90% of all players' ways, because it seemed very obvious what you should do and what the metas were, because there weren't any choices. At the beginning of the video, I talked about the fact that Gridmaster was very fun, but there were aspects of it that were less fun, and it came more towards when you were completing the grid or completed the grid. And this is for a couple of different reasons. When it came to completing the grid, the last couple unlocks, well, some of the tasks were fun. Like, I really enjoyed the 30-minute Inferno. You're getting some of those unlocks late, basically when you complete the grid. The Amulet of the Monarchs, the Battle Hat, those you're getting, but then you're done the grid at this point. Then you got some other unlocks that come at awkward times where you don't really end up using them. The Dog Sword, there's really no point in using that when you have the Khopesh. The Gloves of the Dam come extremely late, to the point where why would you use the Gloves of the Dam over the Sunlit Bracers, for example? So I think they could have done a little bit better at making some of the rewards accessible earlier, especially the powerful ones. But I do get that this was a difficult balance overall, and maybe they expected players to do something after completing the grid. Now that you've completed the grid, what can you do at this point? And there's maybe like 3 things you can focus on. The first thing you can do is run it back, do a speed run, see how fast you can complete the grid. And this has actually been really fun to see and kind of fits this mode pretty well. So maybe there's some aspects of speed running that works well with Gridmaster in the future. The other thing you can do is max the account. I was thinking about this, and then I realized, why am I doing this? Now, you could just passively do it and it doesn't take that long, but this definitely fell off my list because I didn't see the point, personally. And then the last thing you can do is have some fun in God mode. Go do some PVM, get some other rewards, get stronger. And this is the thing that had the largest appetite for me. I wanted to go around and do all this PVM, but because you're so ridiculously strong, and there's nothing that really challenges you, it gets dull pretty quickly. And not having any additional goals as well on top of that, like there isn't an additional couple tiles I could focus on with max upgrades, yeah, I kind of just got bored way quicker than I thought. I basically spent a couple hours PVMing, and then I logged out, and I haven't logged back in Gridmaster since. I think it would have been nice to have something to do post-grid. Like, we have the Echo bosses, maybe those should have been in the game. Now, I know we were getting a lot of the rewards already through the grid tiles, but maybe those should have been reserved for that, right? Or just something. I almost hope that there was like an additional little grid I can work on just for fun. So that's something I would like to see in a future Gridmaster, some sort of post-grid completion goals I can set myself up for, because otherwise I'm just going to complete the grid and log off when I have the most amount of power. You can go to the shop here in Varrock and purchase everything. You have enough points if you completed the board. This is what some of it looks like here. The green color, yellow. We got black and white, which is probably my favorite one. And you got this like pink one here. It's pretty cool too. I'd really like the cape slot. We don't get enough cosmetics for that. And these are all storable in the POH as well, so you don't have to worry about wasting your bank space. And then you got some POH upgrades. So in build mode, you go to the icon space here with some oak planks, and you can build the login screen altar thing here. And then the incense burner, just use it on there and you can do that. Once you light it, it doesn't actually do flames though. It's like smoke. So I kind of wish it was like flames. But yeah, this is what you can expect from Gridmaster. Nothing too crazy overall. I think the lock-in screen here is a cool concept, but kind of feels out of place here. If I could change my floor and my altar, I think I could make it look a lot better. We've now experienced Gridmaster. What's in store for the future? Well, I think Gridmaster once again really helps to inform leagues a little bit further. Power levels, extremely fun to get strong, but choices probably equally as important, and I hope that they lean into that more with leagues. That way we all get a unique experience. We can try it on multiple accounts if we're really engaged. I do think that if they do a Gridmaster again in the future, that they could definitely make the easier tiles a little less easy, or at least make the board larger so it dilutes a little bit further, because it was too easy and too quick to complete like half the board. Speaking of the board, once we actually complete the board, I wish there was something for us to do. Not something that I set for myself, like maxing or doing some PVM, but something from the Gridmaster team for us. This could be like a small board, perhaps, of little tasks we can complete just for fun, like challenges, maybe like Echo Boss type things, something more difficult to meet the demand of our power. Maybe a completely new PVM experience just during the mode would be very fun, something ridiculously strong. But that's something to think about. But I definitely think that having something afterwards would increase some of the longevity of Gridmaster. Overall, though, I think Gridmaster was a great success. Yes, there's things they can improve in the future, but ultimately I played for a couple days and I had a ton of fun doing so. Did you do Gridmaster? If not, what's stopping you from doing it? And do you think this is something they can do more of in the future?